Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a screenwriter's rant on Boiling Point from Saban Films about a restaurateur and one night where everything probably goes wrong. Looks like it goes wrong. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out my books. Links in the description. You can check out the Pineys. It's Halloween time. Check out the Pineys, books 1 through 7. Very Halloweeny. I will be at the Scary Book Fest in Asbury Park, New Jersey tomorrow, Saturday, from 1 to 4. There'll be readings and Q&As, and it should be a great time. So come on out. I'll have my books. We'll have a setup, and it's all there. And so just do a search. I have a link for my book tours. There's a link to it to follow the links. Anywho, this is about working in a kitchen and how stressful it is. And right away in the trailer, they show a woman asks about nut allergies. And then also later in the same trailer, you see the same woman having problems breathing. So they messed up. They get in. It's about how stressful kitchens are. I gotta imagine most people who work in kitchens will never see this movie, right? This will be like going to work for them. But it seems very realistic. Because there is a ton of pressure making doing a restaurant. There's just a ton of things that they do. I mean, this is Anthony Bourdain talked about it a lot on his show. And here he is in the back room freaking out because he runs the restaurant and he can't get the money, and they're losing a star. They got to worry about critics. It's a mess. Everybody sort of dreams of having a restaurant until they actually do it and they realize how tough it is, how utterly, thankless it kind of is sometimes. Like, there's good things in the beginning of it, like when you get something right, but man, when you get something wrong, man, people are very unforgiving in restaurants. I'm guilty of it too. I mean, I was like a restaurant fiend for a long time. I've really cut back, but and I could be kind of harsh. Written by James Cummings and Philip Brattini, directed by Philip Brantini, starring the guy who I recognize. I assume it's Stephen Graham. I recognize him. I think he's from. Isn't he from Snatch? Wasn't he in like Snatch or one of Guy Ritchie's movies or two? He was one of the crew, not one of the main guys. I'm almost sure he was. But he looks like he's acting his heart out here. Oh, he's the executive producer here. I think that's him. So yeah, this looks intense. It looks almost a little too real for me. It looks a little too close to home. Not that I really worked in a restaurant, but I tend to not like movies that are a little too real sometimes. But if I can't separate myself from the drama, I kind of get roped into the, oh man, and it just sucks to watch a guy like lose his restaurant, which this is what it feels like. Now maybe he doesn't, but in a drama piece like this, something has to happen, right? Something has to happen. So the first act is it's about him going to work, and at first everybody, because in the restaurant biz, everybody's your buddy. Your coworkers are your buddy. You got to have like a positive atmosphere. And then as the night drags on, he's got this guy who I guess is an investor or some kind. He's got the critic. He's got the woman with the peanut allergy. They're juggling all these things, and things go wrong, and they have to deal with it. And then, boiling point. Obviously, there's a boiling point, and he gets mad at a guy in the kitchen, probably his head chef or something. I don't know how the hierarchy is with line cooks, but he's the restaurateur, I assume. Like maybe he's the head chef and he's the head line cook in a fancy restaurant like this. They have different titles, and they just start fighting in the back room, and that's a disaster too, right? Because that's a restaurant, man. It's just constant people coming in wanting food as fast as possible, and they're cooking all this fancy stuff, and then they got to deal with allergies. They got to deal with all sorts of things, and it's very intense. It's very intense. I mean, some of these high-end restaurants, the chef will get up super early and go shopping. right? You know, he has to pick his own produce, pick his own meats and stuff. And it's got to be fresh. You know, for a high-end place like this, it's got to be super fresh. Then he goes home, right? He picks all that stuff out. He's got to get it delivered. You know, it's a long freaking day, right? So maybe he goes home, maybe he sleeps, gets a little relaxation in. Then he goes in around, you know, a place like this, probably around noonish. Maybe they do lunch, maybe they only do dinner, but hell, maybe he goes right in after a few hours, you know, around 10, and they start prepping for the day. They start doing lunch. By the time the dinner crowd rolls around, I mean, like, it's constant, right? And this is going to go, like, on a weekend night, you're going to go late, right? And he gets up early. So you're talking, like, probably, like, close to a 14-hour, 15, 16-hour day. You know? This is why it's very intense. It's very intense. So, I just, you know, I couldn't take this. And, you know, I'm a bit of a cook. I like to consider myself a bit of a cook at home, but to make all this fancy food for people, no. Yeah, here she is. She's having a problem. Boiling Point is the name of the movie. I'm on the fence whether I think it looks good. I think it looks very authentic. I'm on the fence of whether or not I personally would enjoy it. And I like the lead actor, so maybe I would watch it. I'd really have to be, like, right in that mood, you know? Right in that mood that I'd... And, man, I hate movies with a downer ending a lot of times, too. So I'd want this guy to somehow pull it out at the end. But I might say it. I mean, it looks good. It looks good. It's called Boiling Point. It's about a restaurant. If you work in a restaurant, you're probably like, oh, God, I can't watch this. But who knows? And that's it for me, Tony D. Please make sure you check out me and Little Joan on Bitchute and Rumble. Right, Little Joan? Yeah, you're so sad. You want to get on the floor and run around. So we have a Hollywoke hot take today. I talk about the Alec Baldwin thing. It's a mess. It's just a damn mess. And, of course, a news blast. Yesterday's news blast didn't go up on Bitchute for some reason. I just reloaded it. But we'll see you tomorrow.